Joining us in studio, as mentioned, Danny Tarkanian. He's running for the U.S. Senate against Dean Heller, the Republican nomination. It's getting nasty. Dean Heller's been spending a ton of dough on media, paid media. The wake-up ad, I think a lot of people have seen it or heard it. And Danny, let me just ask you, I know we always knew this was going to be a David versus Goliath sort of thing, that Dean Heller's going to have a ton of money. You're going to have enough money to get your message out, but you're not going to have the sort of money he's got. He's already up. In fact, he just, I think he went down on TV last week, but he's been up for a number of weeks with this new ad. How do you get your message out?
Well, I mean, that's very difficult when you're going to be outspent 10-1, but the reason Heller is on TV 4.5 months out is because he's in deep trouble in the race, because the people of Nevada know exactly the kind of person he is. He'll say and do anything to get reelected. So when he's not up for reelection, he's one of the most moderate to liberal Republican senators in Washington, D.C. And then when he runs for a Republican primary, when he gets a tough candidate like myself, all of a sudden he turns into a Mr. Conservative. And, the funny thing is he didn't run the ads building himself up, did he? He ran all the ads lying about me. In fact, the first thing he says in that radio ad is that Danny Tarkanian was involved in telemarketing fraud. Well, I won a defamation lawsuit on the first person who said it. And then the last one, Jackie Rosen, I sued her again, and I'm going to win that lawsuit. I mean, why in the world would anybody want to vote for somebody who's rehashing the same allegations that have already been proven defamatory once and is in the way to be proven a second time? It shows how despicable he is, but that's what he has to do to get back into this ballgame. He has all the money in the world, and he's going to lie all the time, but I believe that the listeners on your show and others through Nevada that know Dean Heller won't let him get away with it.
I want to ask you because Michael Roberson did the same playbook. Defame you, outspend you 10-1, and he got clobbered.
He outspent me 4-1, and he did. He got beat by 8%. I hope that I can keep it closer to 4-1 with Heller than 10-1, but you never know. Yeah, I mean, listen, some people buy those ads, and that's why they run them like that. In fact, I was in the Lincoln Day Circuit, and I had a couple of people say, you can't go negative on Heller and this and that. I said, he's lying about me so badly. What are you talking about? And they said, oh, but it turns voters off. Well, the sad fact is the voters that are turned off are the ones that already have their mind made up because they're educated political voters. It's the ones that don't follow politics, that are just watching the 5 o'clock news, and they see this and say, well, it's on TV. It's probably true then.
I want to ask you because we all know that Dean Heller was a never-Trumper. He has now embraced him. And, in fact, I saw one article saying they're like BFFs. They're like best friends forever.
Yeah, but that was from his wife. She wrote the article.
No. But seriously, the fact that there may be an alliance brewing between
there's no alliance brewing. Stop that, Kevin.
Okay.
That's Dean Heller and his campaign's talking points, because he has no chance to win unless he makes the public believe that. Look at Dean Heller. In the 2016 elections, everybody knows he was one of the most vocal never-Trumpers. He stated, I vehemently oppose our nominee, Donald Trump. He said, let me be very, very clear, I do not support Donald Trump. He encouraged Joe Heck to go on stage and demand Donald Trump step down as a nominee. In fact, he was on stage clapping when Joe Heck did it and told the media afterwards, I know this makes some people uncomfortable, but it's the right thing for Joe Heck to do. So let's take that point. He was against Donald Trump in the 2016 elections. At first, Dean Heller tried to lie about that. 2 weeks after I got in the race, he said he tweeted out that he actually voted for Donald Trump. When the laughter stopped, he figured, well, that was not going to work. So now he's saying he had a come to Jesus moment where he said, oh, now that I've been able to work with President Trump, I see that he's got some really good policies, and I'm going to start supporting him. The funny thing about that, though, is when President Trump first took office in February, Dean Heller was stated on tape again, these are his words, that he thinks that they should consider a special prosecutor to investigate Donald Trump, and Mueller was subsequently hired. And then he voted against the repeal of Obamacare, even though that was one of Trump's major America First policies. Dean Heller didn't start embracing Donald Trump until I got in the race. And 2 weeks later, he started becoming Trump's BFF, and he wants people in Nevada to think that he has a great relationship with him. And that's just the way Dean Heller works. There's a reason he's been in office 27 years, because he knows how to manipulate the media and the public into believing certain things during an election, and then he goes and does a complete opposite when he's in Washington, D.C. But that's what people call the swamp. That's what they are so upset at. That's why they helped President Trump win the election, because they want to get rid of people like Dean Heller. Now, he's doing a great job of it. He had an article in the AP newspaper just over the weekend that was published in the Las Vegas Sun and the Reno Gazette. And in there, it talks about how him and Trump are so close that he's helping Trump pass his policy positions. Now, think about this, listeners. What laws have been passed with the Republican-controlled Congress and Senate and Donald Trump in office? Well, we didn't get Obamacare passed. We didn't get anything passed except a tax reform bill that required 50 votes. Well, you had 51 senators. Who in the world on the Republican side is going to vote against a tax deduction? And you only needed 50 of them. Now, Dean Heller's running around acting like that was hard work and that he himself was the one who shepherded that bill through and it wasn't for him, it would never happen. Are you kidding me? Every Republican congressman and senator voted for that bill like they should. Now, he didn't get Obamacare passed. The next bill that got passed, the budget, the budget, that is the most anti-conservative bill you can think of in regards to the amount of spending. It's $1 trillion more in spending. It's what Obama was doing. Everybody was infuriated with them. So Dean Heller's taking credit for that. The sad fact of the matter is this, that Donald Trump has not said one thing positive about Dean Heller since he's been in office. And Dean Heller's the only one that's saying him and Donald Trump have a good relationship. Dean Heller's saying that he talks to Trump on the phone all the time. He talks to Ivanka Trump all the time. Well, Ivanka Trump was a Democrat, and she's very, very moderate to liberal compared to the Republican base. Now, that probably is more in line with Dean Heller's philosophy, but he's not close with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, when he thanked 11 legislators for helping to pass a tax reform bill, Dean Heller was not one of them, even though Dean Heller told the people of Nevada that he crafted the bill and was most responsible for passing it. Well, listen, this is the way Dean Heller operates to get reelected. If he somehow wins on June 13th, he'll be the same D.C. Dean Heller that there was before I got in the race, and the Nevada GOP is going to have to live with that.
I want to talk about issues that maybe you disagree with Dean Heller on. Let's begin. Let's begin with Yucca Mountain. He says never Yucca Mountain, period, end of sentence.
Because Dean Heller takes a position based upon what the polling numbers are or what his political consultants tell him are going to help him politically. I take the positions based upon what's best interest for the people of Nevada and our country. And Yucca Mountain, if you do it the right way, it could be a positive for Nevada. If you do it Dean Heller's way, you know what's going to happen? They're going to jam it down our throat. We're going to have a storage facility here, and we're going to get very little money out of it. Now, that's Dean Heller's way, but it may help him with some votes, and he can get reelected. He can pat himself on the back while he's in Washington, D.C., sipping his champagne with the big lobbyists and everything. But it's not what's best for the people of Nevada or our country. Look, we got 100-plus above-ground temporary storage facilities for the nuclear spent fuel right now, one of which is just outside of San Diego, a few hundred miles from Las Vegas. If you're talking about a danger, there's a danger of an accident or a terrorist act in one of those 100 above-ground sites near millions of people, and it's going to be the most devastating thing that ever happened to the United States. We have to find a solution. Instead of storing the nuclear spent fuel here in Nevada, we should reprocess it where you get to generate new energy out of it and create a revenue for the state of Nevada. So what I suggest, and I've done this since 2010, is we should negotiate with the federal government, say, hey, you want us to bring in the nuclear spent fuel here? We'll do it only if we reprocess it. And if we reprocess it, you know what the benefits are going to be for Nevada? We're going to have a $97 billion construction project. And for all of the listeners here, I want to put that in perspective. The biggest construction project we've had has been the Wynn Casino at just over $2 billion. This one, we're talking about being over 50 times that much, almost 50 times that much. That's the kind of economic rejuvenation you're going to have in Nye County with your previous host, Dennis Hoff, where he's running from. Then once you build that, you're going to be able to sell that nuclear spent fuel as energy across the country. And, you know, Brian Sandoval can come back out of retirement and actually get more money for education without having to take it from the taxpayers, because we're going to have money coming in from the sale of the nuclear spent fuel. Dean Heller, he won't have to complain about reducing money to the Medicaid recipients here in Nevada, because we're going to have it selling that reprocessed nuclear spent fuel across the country. People here in Nevada won't have to worry about paying more taxes. They actually may get a rebate back because of the energy that we're selling, just like they do in Alaska. UNLV and UNR were turned into the leading research institutions in the entire world for alternative energies. We already have wind, solar, and geothermal here. You put in the nuclear energy, it would be the hub of new energy across the whole world. This could be a win-win for everybody in Nevada. Arguments against it, there could be a catastrophic accident when they transport it in. Well, they're transporting nuclear spent fuel in Nevada every single day for over 2-3 decades, and there hasn't been one accident yet. So that's not really a valid argument. And that's it. That's it.
Well, I'll ask you about another issue: immigration reform. I've looked through the media. I've gone to the website. Does Dean Heller support the 4 pillars that President Trump has enunciated, and do you support the 4 pillars?
It depends when you talk to Dean. I mean, if it's why I'm in the race, then yes, he's going to support President Trump's pillars. But before that, he was stated on tape talking to the veterans in politics that we have to find a pathway to citizenship for the 14 to 15 million illegal immigrants here in the state of Nevada. And I ask the listeners here, when you're going to get out and vote, how many of you agree that we should give citizenship to the 14 or 15 million illegal immigrants that, like Dean Heller has suggested? Look, I believe that those 4 pillars that President Trump's talking about need to be implemented, with the 5th one, which would be e-verification. I don't know why President Trump has left that one out. E-verification requires employers to verify the legal residency, that the people that are in the country that they're hiring are legal citizens here or legal residents here. Why that's out, I don't know. You get those 5, then I would like to have seen just legal residency given to the people that the DACA recipients that Trump's talking about. He went a step further and is offering citizenship. And I know why he's doing that, because he knew the Democrats wouldn't agree to it. And he put the Democrats in a hole. This is his negotiating skills. He gave them such a great offer, knowing they wouldn't accept it because they won't fund the wall, and they won't get rid of diversity lotteries, and they won't get rid of chain migration. So he said, hey, I'm going to give you all this. I'm going to double the number of DACA recipients. I'm going to give you citizenship, and watch, they won't even accept it. And they didn't.
Again, Danny Tarkanian joining us. He's running for the Senate, running against Dean Heller, trying to unseat the incumbent. An issue that you may agree with Dean Heller on, I'm not quite sure, and that's the issue of gun control. Since what happened a week ago in Parkland, Florida, we all, our thoughts and prayers to the 17 who lost their lives, the families that were impacted, the students that were impacted. The students right now are in Tallahassee, 100 of them from Parkland, Florida, and they are protesting and they are advocating for gun control measures. Where are you? How far are you willing to go on gun control?
Look, Dean Heller joined Barbara Feinstein on a gun control measure. And he claims, well, the NRA backs it. Well, the other gun organizations don't back it around the country. In fact, one of them supports me, and it just gave me a $5,000 PAC check, which is the first one I've gotten all campaign, and their endorsement. Dean Heller has gone further in trying to find some type of gun control measures out there. The problem isn't the guns that are killing the people, as anybody who understands this would know. It's what's happening in our society and the way people are behaving and being raised. If you really want to stop gun control violence, then why don't we put a restriction on all those movies and the rap songs that are coming out and saying, hey, we're not going to glamorize those movies or those rap songs for anybody at a younger age. Maybe put a limit on it like they did earlier in the movies. We're not going to let young kids see these type of things, have these type of games on the video machines where, you know what, it would blow Hollywood away. It would blow the music industry away because they're the ones calling for gun violence, but it's their products of their activities that are causing this type of gun violence. It's the de-emphasis of the family that's causing these kind of gun violences. Instead of, fighting people because we want to have the Lord's Prayers read in school or stand for the national anthem or encourage two-parent families. Instead, we de-emphasize that, and then we wonder why kids are running around committing atrocious acts.
You talked about Hollywood. George Clooney has joined with Oprah to donate $1 million to this Save Lives March in Washington on March 24th, which supposedly is organized by the students of Parkland, Florida. And I guess my question is, are these kids being co-opted? Are these kids being used as pawns by the Hollywood elite?
No, I don't think so. And I differ when people say that. These kids have gone through an incredibly emotionally trying experience, and they listen and hear the talk that's out there, and I'm sure they believe it, that they believe that AK gun went off on its own and killed those people. They didn't put the blame behind a guy that was emotionally disturbed, that people had reported him to be emotionally disturbed. Again, he was somebody that didn't have parents raising him. He was in a foster home or somebody had taken him into his home. I'm sure he was probably watching the same type of gun violence on TV and in the video games. You know, instead of looking at the cause of the problem, they're looking at the source of the killing. Well, we've seen that just across the world and even here in the United States, people are taking big trucks and running people over and killing almost as many people. They're gonna find another alternative to kill people if you want to kill people. The problem is, why do we have a society that wants to kill people, innocent people?
I know that you're going to be crisscrossing the state. Where are you going to be in the next few days? You're going to be in Southern Nevada, Northern Nevada, combination?
We're going to be up in Hawthorne for the Republican State Convention. My wife and I are going to be there. My wife's an annual delegate as being a former state party chair. And then we come back here next week for the Lincoln Day dinner here in Clark County. And then
March 3rd.
And then we have the one in Nye County the week after that. In between, we're going to try to do the best we can to continue to get our message out to the people of Nevada with the limited resources we have. And I feel real good where we're at right now.
I just want to ask you, because I know you've been to a lot of these Lincoln Day dinners, breakfast, lunches. You've talked to a lot of Republicans across the state. Tell me what they're telling you. Is there any one message that they're trying to send?
No, I think people on the Republican side are pretty happy with where we're at right now because they see they have a president in Washington, D.C. that's helping to drain the swamp and make some changes that are really great for our country. Dean Heller has completely now embraced Donald Trump at these Lincoln Day dinners. In fact, he told the Lincoln Day people in Carson City that Donald Trump supports him, is going to come out and campaign for him. Now, Dean's the only one who's heard that because nobody else has heard that. He hasn't made that public. But that's the type of things that he's saying because, you know why? The thing that the Republican voters care about right now is to support President Trump's America First policies. That's their most important issue. And I've always been there. It didn't take me to get into a tough primary to switch over and all of a sudden support those issues. And Dean's smart enough. He's a political animal. He's been in office 27 years. He's a career politician. And he understands that if he didn't all of a sudden jump over and embrace President Trump's America First policies, he was going to get beat by double digits. So now he wants to deceive everybody. But I'm counting on you listeners to make sure that doesn't get out.
Danny, always good to see you. Thank you. You literally jumped off an airplane and came across the street to join us here.
I was like OJ, not the bad OJ. I was like the OJ running through the airport trying to catch those Hertz commercils with those cars. I was high-stepping.
I love it. If folks want to help you, if they want to give you money, they want to put yard signs in, where do they go? TARKNV.com is our website, and if you fill in, even if you have questions, I answer every question that is sent to us as long as they're respectable. I answer them personally. You have very safe travels. You're going to be in and out of town and over the next few months. Thank you so much. We'll get you in again, I promise.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
That's Danny Tarkanian running for the U.S. Senate. Joining us